Do all religions lead to the same truth? This is a question people have asked for thousands of years. It's a big question with no simple answer. All around the world, people follow different faiths. They have different books, different rituals, and different names for God. Yet many are looking for something similar. They seek answers to life's biggest questions. Where do we come from? Why are we here? What happens after we die? The journey to find these answers is at the heart of what it means to be human. It is a quest for meaning, for connection, and for what we call truth. But what does truth really mean when we talk about religion? The idea of truth in religion is not just one thing. It can be understood in several ways, each offering a different kind of understanding. First, there is literal truth. This is when people believe the stories in their holy books are historical facts, describing events that happened exactly as written. For example, the creation stories in many religions are seen by some followers as a direct account of how the world began. This kind of truth is about facts and historical accuracy. It is a foundation for many believers, providing a clear and solid framework for their faith, a history that connects them directly to the divine or the beginning of time. Then, we have mystical truth. This is a deeper, more personal kind of truth that is often hard to describe with words. It's about a direct experience of God, the divine, or ultimate reality. Mystics from different traditions, Christian monks, Sufi poets, Buddhist masters, often describe their experiences in very similar ways. They talk about a feeling of oneness with everything, a sense of pure love, and a peace that goes beyond normal understanding. This truth is not found in a book, but within the self, through prayer, meditation, or deep contemplation. It suggests that beyond our separate names for God, there is a shared experience of the divine waiting to be discovered by anyone who seeks it. Finally, we also find ethical and ultimate truth. Ethical truth is about how we should live and treat one another. Most religions share core moral values like compassion, kindness, justice, and honesty. This is the golden rule we see in so many cultures. Treat others as you would like to be treated. It is a practical truth that guides our actions in the world. Ultimate truth, on the other hand, deals with the final reality of existence. It answers the big questions about life, death, and the purpose of the universe. Each religion offers its own map to this ultimate reality, its own final destination for the human soul. The question is whether these different maps all lead to the same place. One powerful idea that suggests all religions are heading toward the same goal is called religious pluralism. A common way to explain this is the metaphor of many paths leading up the same mountain. From the bottom, each path looks very different. One might be steep and rocky, another might be long and winding through a forest. People on different paths might disagree about the best way to climb, but as they get closer to the summit, they begin to see that everyone is climbing toward the same peak. This idea, often called the Perennial Philosophy, suggests that while the outer forms of religion vary, their inner, mystical core is the same. They all point toward a single, universal divine reality. Another argument for unity comes from an attitude called Inclusivism. This view is a middle ground. It holds that one religion might have the fullest understanding of truth, but it also recognizes that other religions have value and can lead people to God. An inclusivist might believe their path is the most direct, but they see other faiths as valid responses to the divine as well. For example, a Christian inclusivist might believe that salvation is found through Christ, but that people of other faiths can also be saved by God's grace, even if they don't know Jesus by name. This view allows for both a strong personal faith and a deep respect for the spiritual journeys of others. The strongest evidence for a shared religious truth might be found in our shared moral values. When you look at the core teachings of major world religions, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and others, you find a remarkable agreement on how to live a good life. The importance of compassion, forgiveness, humility, and caring for the poor and vulnerable is a common thread that runs through all of them. This shared ethical foundation suggests that, regardless of our specific beliefs about God or the afterlife, we all have a similar understanding of what it means to be a good person. This common moral compass points toward a universal human truth about how we should live together. These ideas, pluralism, inclusivism, and shared ethics, paint a picture of a world where different religions are like different languages trying to describe the same indescribable thing. Each language has its own grammar and vocabulary, its own beauty and limitations. No single language can capture the whole truth, but together, they can give us a richer and more complete picture. From this perspective, the diversity of religions is not a problem to be solved, but a treasure to be celebrated. It shows the many different ways that humanity has sought to connect with something larger than itself, a journey that unites us all even when our beliefs seem to set us apart. On the other hand, many people believe that different religions lead to fundamentally different truths. This view is known as exclusivism. It argues that the differences between religions are not just on the surface, they are deep and cannot be reconciled. For example, the core claims of major religions often contradict each other. Christianity teaches that Jesus is the unique Son of God, the only way to salvation. Islam teaches that there is one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final prophet, and it does not accept the divinity of Jesus. Buddhism in some forms does not focus on a creator God at all, but on ending suffering through enlightenment. These are not small differences, they are central claims about the nature of reality. Another argument for the uniqueness of each religion comes from its history and culture. Religions do not appear out of nowhere. They grow from specific historical contexts, shaped by the languages, traditions, and experiences of a particular group of people. The story of the Jewish people's covenant with God is deeply tied to their history of exile and return. The teachings of Islam are rooted in the social and political world of 7th century Arabia. To ignore these unique historical roots is to misunderstand the religion itself. Trying to blend them all together into one generic spirituality, some argue, strips them of their power and meaning, like taking a beautiful painting and blurring all the colors together until nothing is clear. Furthermore, there is a concern about the problem of mixing beliefs, an idea known as syncretism. While combining ideas can sometimes create something new and beautiful, it can also lead to confusion. If you take a little bit of Buddhism, a little bit of Christianity, and a little bit of indigenous spirituality, do you end up with a deeper truth, or do you end up with a faith that has lost its core message? For many devout followers, their religion is a complete and coherent system. Each part, its rituals, its doctrines, its community, works together to provide a clear path. Taking it apart and mixing it with other systems can cause that path to disappear, leaving a person spiritually lost. From this perspective, respecting different religions means acknowledging their real and important differences, not pretending they don't exist. It means understanding that a Muslim's path to God is fundamentally different from a Hindu's path to moksha, and that both are different from a Buddhist's path to nirvana. These are not just different roads to the same place. They might be different roads to different places. This view encourages us to take each religion seriously on its own terms, to appreciate its unique wisdom and its specific claims about truth, rather than trying to make them all fit into one mold that might not suit any of them. So, how do we make sense of these conflicting ideas? Philosophers have offered several ways to think about religious truth. One is classical theism, which often relies on revelation. This is the idea that truth is given to humanity by God through prophets or sacred texts. Another view is pragmatism, which suggests that the truth of a belief is found in its practical effects. If a belief helps a person live a more compassionate, meaningful, and joyful life, then it is true for them. A third view is relativism, which says that truth is not absolute but is relative to a person's culture or individual perspective. There is no single truth with a capital T, only truths that are meaningful to different people. These different philosophical lenses help us understand the main approaches to religious diversity: exclusivism, inclusivism, and pluralism. Exclusivism says, "My religion is the one true path." Inclusivism says, "My religion is the truest path, but other paths have value." Pluralism says, "All our religions are different but equally valid paths to the ultimate reality." Each of these positions has its own logic and its own way of seeing the world. None of them has been able to convince everyone else. The debate continues because it touches on our most deeply held beliefs about who we are and what our purpose is. It is a conversation that is central to the human story. In our modern interconnected world, understanding these different views is more important than ever. This is where interfaith dialogue comes in. Interfaith dialogue is not about trying to prove that one religion is right and the others are wrong. It is also not about trying to merge all religions into one. Instead, it is about creating a space where people from different faiths can listen to and learn from one another with respect and curiosity. It is about building bridges of understanding, finding common ground on shared values like peace and justice, and working together to solve problems that affect all of humanity, like poverty and environmental destruction. In the end, the question of whether all religions lead to one truth may not have a single simple answer. Perhaps the journey is more important than the destination. There is profound value in the unity we find in our shared search for meaning and our common ethical principles. At the same time, there is immense beauty and wisdom in the diversity of our distinct traditions. Maybe the goal is not to erase our differences, but to learn to hold them in a spirit of humility and respect. By listening to each other's stories, we might not find one final truth, but we will certainly find a deeper and more compassionate understanding of each other.